has less reporting requirements, as it's only a one-time purchase and not an ongoing tracking of a design, construct, infrastructure project. So on the heels of the 50,000 that was awarded in midsummer, early summer, 107,000 would also be identified for the back truck purchase. We're also working on that, I think, budget amendment to identify and recognize that as revenue into the stormwater utility. So that's the opportunity at this point. It alludes to Vector truck or sweeper truck MS4 maintenance activities. That's ongoing O&M within the storm utility, rotting main lines, cleaning filter valves, dry wells. So it is a eligible.
So between the two grants, that pays for almost half the truck.
Right, and we didn't anticipate paying for half of the back truck purchase. We formed the 2010
That's
budget.
great news.
Yeah, it is.
And
Absolutely.
Trevor, to clarify, this additional grant is one that we've already been offered from the state.
Yes.
This morning we had a Public Works meeting with Trevor, and at the end of the meeting we went out and they gave us a demonstration of the Vector truck. And as often as we talk about fire trucks over the years and the amount of need for those types of things, that there's really obvious when we get out there in the field to see what the need is for this Vector truck, and the fact that the guys have worked around an old one that was past its prime when we got it. Even today they said that the guys will be working for the next 2 or 3 years to catch up to what it was that we just didn't get done over the years. So looks like it's an extremely good piece of equipment, and not very many suppliers, so we were stuck with, and I shouldn't say stuck because it's a good piece of equipment, but didn't have a lot of options to get, but the guys look really proficient at what they're doing, and should save us a bunch of money and time. So good expenditure.
Yeah, it's a great one because, I mean, they're still coming up with different things that they could do with the truck. It's turned into almost a Swiss Army knife in terms of tools. I mean, for example, if you needed to put in a new fire hydrant, rather than bringing in a backhoe and risking cutting a gas line or a buried optical cable, you use high pressure water and suck the dirt up. It's called hydro excavating, and you can dig right down and put your new fire hydrant in without, I mean, you're gonna have to use a backhoe to break the pavement on top, but after that. So it's safer, it's quicker, it's an amazing piece of equipment.
Well, the other thing that we noticed was that we talked about the confined space entry. Trevor was saying that these guys don't go down in those holes anymore unless they have to. It's a, and the one thing that I found out today, Chief, was that when they go down into the confined space entry, they send an email to James River, the paper mill, and so that, so that they know that there's somebody down in the hole, and we're at least looking out for the guys that are down there, and with this thing, with the nozzles, that way they have on it, the guy that put it down in there, and nobody else has to go down into that nasty environment. So it's a good deal.
I want to make sure this is a grant, an outright grant, and not a loan.
Right.
Thank you.
Other questions for Trevor? Thank you, Trevor.
One other thing, Mayor Gard, if I may. We're working on a sewer rehab project down on Department of Transportation, SR 14 and Addy Street. And it's a small works roster project. We've got a engineer estimate. In order to do that, we have to set up a reimbursable account where we have to sign off that we will obligate a maximum not to exceed $2,500 for them to review the plans and provide inspection if needed. So I got this before the workshop packet was routed, so I wanted to give you a copy of this as well as the engineer estimate. Fairly routine in working with DOT. They usually attach a 10% review fee cost for working within their right of way. And it's a sewer rehabilitation project where we've got crushed pipe that's going into the wastewater treatment plant. So estimate will just be the reimbursable account execution of that agreement. The actual bid item will be a small works where we'll solicit new bids and use our roster.
We have more questions on Monday, but any questions every single time yet? Let's, Trevor, let's go ahead and, RJ, have this one put on as an agenda bill rather than on the consent agenda, so we've
Sure.
got a chance to answer any questions.
Yes.
It says here, the city of Washougal is responsible for reimbursing the department for actual, direct and related expenses associated with work in the state right-of-way. Is this the traditional way of doing this? We're paying taxes to create the State Department of Transportation and then operate it, and now we're paying for the work that they do. Is that something new, or has that been going on for a while?
Well, this we're doing in the state's right of way, but it's a Washington project, correct? Trevor?
Yes. Yeah.
It's not a state project, it's just on their property.
I'll talk with Trevor and try to get a feel for the background on this, but this is the type of thing that bothers me about the state. It doesn't matter whether it's the state of Washington, Oregon, California, or any of the others that I've become familiar with. This sort of thing bothers me.
Want to be in the right of way?
Well,
Project?
We create a department, we pay for it, and then they want us to pay for the work they do.
No, it's not what the work they do, it's what the work we're doing.
And they want us to pay for their approvals.
But think
Their
of
review of
it,
it.
suppose we were gonna run a water line through the corner
I
of Fort
don't
Lewis.
need an example, thanks, I'll talk to Trevor.
Through Fort Lewis, I mean, we would have to pay
Excuse
the
me, I'm
Army.
not interested in what you've got to say.
Okay, I got it.
RJ, PSA for Armada.
Armada, yeah. So I do want to apologize, I'm probably going to change up the agenda bill a little bit. The very first section talks about a PSA with provisions, AR, and talking to Rodney and Jennifer earlier today, that first portion of it talks about kind of a pay arrangement, professional agreement where they would handle our pay arrangements, and we feel, talking internally, that that's something that we can continue handling. If a customer wants a payment arrangement, they would stay with. Now, I know they met with the finance committee earlier and with yourself, so if I've got something wrong, it was just from what we were talking with today. So the very first professional service agreement, I'm going to pull that out, and we're not going to go with that one. The second part, and there'll be an addendum to that too, is with Armada. And the purpose with entering agreement with Armada is for collection purposes on accounts that we have trouble or cannot collect on. We would still send a bill to a property owner with 2 delinquent notices, but on those properties that are just sewer only, or in some situations with even the planning's department, they have engineer estimates where they haven't been able to collect on. We don't have a recourse to collect on. So what those sewer-only accounts where we can't turn off water, and with some of the past due balances we have with engineering estimates from the public out there, we would propose sending them